Welcome to the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast. In today's episode, we're going to discuss the Mindset and Matter coaching programs and which program is ideal for which person out there. So if you're interested in coaching with us, you'll definitely want to stay tuned on how these programs can help you reach your individual goals. So if you're ready, listen up and lean in as we elevate your mind.
Yay.
Let's talk about coaching.
Yeah, this is good. This was, I think, needed for us to do.
Yes. Well, especially because we've changed a lot of things recently.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
It makes me feel really good because, okay, so let's do a little BTS, behind the scenes of the coaching world. There is a whole business on coaches helping coaches, right? And I've had all of the input, like only do high ticket, don't have like a low ticket model, because then you're not, you're making yourself seem cheap. And why wouldn't people just pay for the low ticket? And it's like, and it made me feel so gross. Like, of course we have a high ticket model. What we provide is way more than other programs, and we charge almost the same as them. Like, if you're getting a good coach, you're charging the same. But it also made me feel really, and I'm wondering your experience with this, when you're on sales calls and the stay-at-home mom or the teacher, they don't get paid, especially if you're a teacher in Phoenix, they don't get paid a lot. Yeah. And so you feel bad because you know how to help them, but we didn't have anything to help them. So now we have this ascension model is, essentially, that allows us to provide our knowledge in some capacity for the folks out there.
Yep.
Yay. So the Mindset of Matter was created because, as y'all know, I'm a licensed therapist with specialized training in food and body obsession. And I used to teach group fitness classes. And I was teaching group fit classes and working as a therapist. And I was working in an intensive outpatient eating disorder program. And I noticed that the members in our group classes, they would talk to me after class, and they would often talk about their own struggles with consistency in maintaining their health, or they're in the class all the time. They understand why they're not seeing results, or they wish they could have it. People would always say that to me. I wish I could have an eating disorder. People would say that all the time. Yeah. They're like, I wish I had anorexia, because they struggle with like binge eating.
Goodness. Okay.
Oh, it was a constant thing when I would tell people what I did. And so, these folks didn't have a place to go per se on how to manage that. But also, as you and I have discovered, there are not a lot of programs out there that have the expertise in being able to not only manage your negative thinking and feeling about yourself, but also being able to help you create sustainable health and wellness habits based on our experience as personal trainers and nutrition coaches. And so I created the Mindset of Matter as that intersection between, as we call it, science and psychology, where not only are we utilizing the therapeutic aspect of how to change your beliefs to ultimately change your outcomes, but also then create new sustainable habits based on this new way of thinking and feeling, and kind of putting it all together. So that's how the program was created. Amanda was my first assistant coach. She's my head assistant coach. She's my OG. And, for you, I think you really, and I'll let you speak for yourself, but really, believed in what we're doing. I'm still obviously believe in what we're doing and how important it is. So what's been your experience in doing this coaching versus other coaching in the past?
Yeah. So for me, it was like, I noticed a lot of my environment that I was in with my exercise and nutrition people is that we all could do the exercise part. Like, the exercise part was ingrained in us, whether it was at a relatively sustainable thing, is I'm not talking about that right now. And the nutrition part, like, we were all eating fairly well, whether again it was sustainable or not, that's not what I'm talking about. but we didn't have the mindset piece down. And so I think a lot of
Mhm.
times when we're doing these generic programs, and from what I've experienced with clients, is most of our clients that we've worked with have done a program, right?
Mhm.
This isn't usually their first stop. And if it is, great. I'm so happy that they found us first. But
Right.
most of them have not done a generic program. And some of them have a history of exercise. Some of them have a history of like nutrition and well balanced meals and whatnot. But what they were missing was the mindset piece. And I think a lot
Mhm.
of times that's often overlooked, right? Because, so for example, for clients who have done another program, maybe it's like a self guided app. And then they are like, well, I'm not really doing it. So they set themselves up to be the failure instead of looking at like, why am I not doing this? You know? And
Right.
so if they don't have that internal dialogue of being able to figure that out, or even like a support person to help them figure that
Mhm.
out, it's not usually going to help them long term. And so, like, even from my own experience, I remember at one point I was seeing a therapist and I told her, like, I told her a little bit about my eating and my patterns and whatnot. And she basically brushed it off and said, it's fine. Right. And then, yeah. And so at that point, it was like, well, the good, more validation that what I'm doing is fine, like
Right.
that it's not bad. But then again, coming and understanding where that's coming from, why this is important to me, where my value comes from, that is not going to come from me doing the 45-minute to an hour workout. I'm not going to sit there and assess, like, is this really necessary when I'm getting these external sources that are telling me push harder if that's what you want to do. So
Mhm.
again, whether you've just done like an app program or you are dedicated to fitness or dedicated to nutrition, there is a piece that's underlying that's not being met. And
Right.
until you figure that out and see where it's coming from and what you're telling yourself in the future and how you're talking to yourself, you're going to keep running in the same circle and be lost and confused when that circle stops working. And so
Right.
that's where how I think of the program is, this is the piece that you've been missing, whether you
Mhm.
don't exercise at all and you want to get involved and you've tried programs, or you're a go-getter and you've worked out every day for the last 3 years, right?
Yes.
Everything in between, like, it goes across the spectrum, because because those two people can't relate in their history doesn't mean that they can't relate in their background that got them there
And their
either.
mindset.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
is pretty remarkable that spectrum of clients that we do have. You have the person who is high achieving, can do all of the things, and they either are in a body that, is healthy and fit and strong, and they can't see it
Mhm.
because of their perfectionistic mentality or their just terrible body image. And then you have on the other side the person who, really struggles with maintaining any consistency. They don't
Yep.
have that kind of grit and grind. Um, or they do and they, have that perfectionism, but they give up, or the other person will just white knuckle and get through.
Right.
And our program has been designed for both of those people. Like the same exact method. Now, the method is designed for you to understand you and put it together and put the puzzle pieces together, as I say, and coming out of it with more clarity, but more importantly, this realization of, wow, why wouldn't I act in the way I've been acting?
Right.
I say that to people all the time, like, how could you have learned anything else based on these reflections, like these answers you've given me?
Right.
And that gives them such a sense of like compassion and empathy towards themselves that they realize, wow, this is not just a default in who I am. This is a learned, conditioned response. And if I learned this response, I can, as a mature adult, because I learned that in childhood with an immature brain, with a mature brain, relearn it in a way that best serves me and what I want, and so on. So it makes me very happy because we get to. It's such a niche program, but we touch base with so many different types of people,
Yes.
and that's really wonderful. And, now having this model where we can touch a client who, and we're going to talk about the different programs, a client who, even someone who can't, I mean, just calling it as it is, investing in your health. A lot of women don't do that, or they do it, but they're looking for like the cheapest option. Let's just
Yeah.
call it as it is, because I personally think that there's 4 different types of fears we see in people when they come into a new program. Fear of the past. So the program hasn't worked in the past, so I don't want to invest too much in it because I haven't seen it work before. Fear of the future. Can I actually do this? Like, does this program meet my needs? And again, sometimes that includes that false confidence, right? That I think I can do it, but I'm not actually looking at what it all entails. Or I'm in that motivation spot where I think, oh, I'm really highly motivated now, but life gets lifey and that motivation goes away. You have fear of the program itself, right? So what does it require, which is kind of like the last one I talked about, but what does it require? Not knowing kind of what it is, especially in our program, because we have that piece that is something you've never done. And then fear of yourself, right? So fear of yourself, fear of the mental barriers, and so on and so forth. And for a lot of women, they will not make the investment. Either they can't. That's a true thing. I can't invest the hundreds of thousands of dollars into a program because I don't have the money. So by being able to offer our first program, which is the Method Self-Guided Program, it gives us an opportunity to work with those individuals who simply can't afford it. Right. And that was really important to me because my goal when we started this program, and now our goal as a team, is to help as many people as we possibly can. Right. We have our organic education, this being one of them, our social medias being one of them, right? The stuff that's free. Then if you want to take it a step further, we do the Method Self-Guided Program, which is a course, you guys. It's a 16-week course. Everything we do, the method is always 16 weeks. And I've actually made it 16 weeks because I realized that sometimes it was like 18. I was like, that's not what I say. So I had to cut some things or move them around. But the self-guided course is exactly what it sounds like. You are in charge of how much you get from this put in and put out, get out, from this program.
Yeah.
It is a course where each week is a new lesson. You have a video of me. So I'm going through the reflections. Then we have fillable PDFs that you can then download once you're done of the reflections. Then we have daily journal prompts that you also can download. They're all fillable, or you can download and print them if you want that option. And all you're doing is going through the method on your own. It is our most hands-off approach. There is no coaching other than you get the opportunity to ask the two of us questions directly through it. Well, I should say directly. You go through a form that if you have a question or you're caught up on something, you need some coaching, we will answer it here on the podcast. So let's go through who this would be ideal for. Who do you think, for a self-guided program, who would be someone that you think would be good at this program?
This is going to be someone that can hold themselves accountable to completing it. So, for example, if you're a person who, I'm going to take you, for example, who signs up for courses and then realizes like, oh shit, I signed up for 5 different courses and I haven't even started 2 of them.
That's me.
Yeah. This is not the one. But if you're like, no, I sign up for a course, I learn a lot and I really enjoy it, and I tend to get it done within the time frame that it's recommended, then this is a great option for you.
Yes, absolutely. Especially if you're someone who, our other courses are more hands-on. They do require you to be somewhere at least once a week at a certain time. Now, obviously, you'll see how, like, the more hands-on we are, the more flexible you actually can be with your schedule. This one obviously having the most flexibility. But no, I agree. It's someone who's going to hold themselves accountable, someone who's going to do the work, who's going to follow through with each assignment. The thing about this program, guys, is like you can't move on until you're done with that week's work. So there's no kind of reading ahead. You go step by step because that's how the method is designed.
Mhm.
You know, for a person who can really apply this information independently without kind of needing us and our other coaches to sit there with you, help you understand it, where you can be very insightful and self-aware, this would be a great option for you. The other thing too is, like I said, this is for anyone who is hesitant to invest financially. This program is going to be less than $100. And we also have the option to teach you how to create your own nutrition plan, to create your own workouts. This is an add-on to this program where I've created PDFs based on everything that Amanda and I talk about here, where you can actually create your own and design your own norms, as we call them, right? Your minimums, and do it in a way that makes sense for you.
Yep.
And so what again, this is for someone who wants more flexibility and autonomy in general. They're self-motivated and it is the most cost efficient. But let's talk about the cons of this program.
Yeah.
What do you think is some of the things that are not great?
Well, and I don't know if this necessarily this can be a pro and a con. I would say there has to be some background of this experience, right? Some awareness that this isn't working for me. Some awareness that, yeah, there, like you said, a high awareness of yourself. So maybe there is someone that has been to therapy before, but really didn't touch on the exercise, nutrition, body image, behaviors around those types of things, but there's a missing link. So
Yeah.
a con could be if you're not aware of that and you think like, oh, I'll just do this and kind of figure out the exercise and nutrition part. I see this for a person who is aware of the exercise and nutrition part, quite maybe has a bit of a habit of it or part of who they are and what they value, as opposed to the person that's just walking into this cold turkey. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And the option with the self-guided program is you can just run the method. As I mentioned, that is the first piece. And then if you want the add-ons, you can add on nutrition. And the nutrition looks like this. I have Let's Get Tracking, which is one PDF that literally shows you the algorithms. We're doing straight up math for calculating your BMR, your total daily energy expenditure, then helping you break down your macronutrients. So you have it there. So the nice thing about it is that PDF is for you for life. So you can literally just input your new data and figure that out however you need. It talks about maintenance, surplus, deficit. It gives you cheat sheets for macronutrients. And then it also has a 30-day tracking. So you can start with tracking your food and other habits using Let's Get Tracking. We also have the Meal Prep 101 guide, which is more for someone who doesn't want to track food in something like MyFitnessPal. They want to use more of the hand portions guide, or they want to use the proper balance plate. That is also going to give you some macro cheat sheets and other information on like how to prep foods to make them more time effective. So you get the choice between the two. Then in regards to the workout, I basically have a PDF of all your major muscle movements as well as core and accessory movements. And at the end, I show you how to make a well-designed full body workout where I say pick two from here, and two from here, one from here, one from here. So we say two from lower body, right? Two from upper body push, two from upper body pull, or whatever it is, right? And then you have your accessory work. So you guys can also learn how to create your own workouts doing that. But yeah, I think, again, it really definitely is a wonderful program. Like you said, you definitely have to have more self-discipline, as well as just realize it has limited support. However, every single reflection has a link to a type form. That type form you can fill out. You sign a couple of disclaimers and releases to allow us to talk about this on air. And maybe even we should add to that if you want to ask us live. We could do that.
Yeah. On the type form.
Yeah, I need to do that.
Mhm.
So again, that is the self-guided program. Again, 100% you doing you.
I interrupt this episode to bring to you our June discount on our one-to-one coaching program. Y'all do not want to miss this. If you are someone who needs accountability, support, someone to hold your hand through this really tough work of rewiring your mind to let go of yo-yo dieting, emotional eating, binge eating, excessive exercise, this is a program for you. The Mindset Method one-to-one coaching, again, is our most intimate program. You get a one-to-one call with your coach every single week. Every week, y'all. This allows you to process, understand the underlying and root causes to the behaviors that you need to rid yourself in an effort to see the results you desire. On top of that, you get direct access to your coach through our messenger and our app any time of the day or week, your coach being there to help you on the other side. You get customized nutrition protocols as well as well-phased and well-programmed exercise protocols. And these will change over the period of the 4 months that you're with your coach. On top of that, you get resources, self-care resources, resources to help you with your nutrition, access to our amazing community of women, and so much more. For the month of June, using the code JUNEMINDSET, you are going to get $250 off our Mindset Method one-to-one coaching program. You will not want to miss this. Seats are limited as we only have so many clients that we are open to taking. If you are interested, you will want to sign up for a clarity call, the link being below. And in this clarity call, we're both interviewing each other. This program takes a lot of work. You need to be ready, willing, and able to do this work. And so myself and Coach Amanda will decide if you are ready and if you are a good candidate for our program, as well as we hope you decide if we're a good candidate for your coach. And so if you are interested in that, please click the link below. This is only going to be offered to our podcast listeners, so take advantage of it. Other than that, let's get back to the show.
Mm-hmm.
The next program, which actually released last week when this will air, is the group coaching cohort. So this is a supportive, community-driven approach that allows you to work in your cohort, in your group. You all start at the same time. You receive reflections in the EverFit app, whereas the self-guided program is completely outside of our EverFit environment, if you will. And the EverFit app is nice because you have your reflections that come to you on Monday. Your reflections are all saved in EverFit, so you don't have to download anything. You can go back and look at them in your profile. You can also download them. So like at the end, I'll tell people, if you want to keep any of this information, you can go ahead and download it and save it to your computer or save it to your phone. Then you work on your journal prompts that also come through EverFit that will be saved for you. And you get the opportunity to meet with one of us coaches every week so we can process and help you understand, help you ask questions, educate you on how the information that you've learned over that week or are gaining awareness around how that applies to you in regards to your relationship with your body and food, and then also teaching you the skills and helping you implement them. You also get access to the community forum where you can message us if you have a question or a strength or a challenge. Your whole cohort will help walk you through that, which is really important. And also, we're adding on custom nutrition and exercise coaching with a coach. So what that looks like is you work the method in your cohort, and whoever is running that cohort will also help you with your nutrition protocols, help you with a customized exercise program that now fits this new way of thinking and feeling. Initially, that's going to feel really uncomfortable because you're starting off with probably doing less and eating more. But eventually through the process, it'll become much easier to do because we're also working on the mindset piece. That option is an add-on as well. And you get a weekly written check-in with your coach, and you have direct access to your coach. So just like the first program, the self-guided, we have mindset only, which is completely group oriented, or you can do mindset in the group, and then the group leader will also provide you customized nutrition and fitness coaching, which makes me happy because before this, we've kind of run, we've had lower level programs, right, where people can just come into our atmosphere with only macros coaching or
Right.
macros and exercise. But you and I were pulling out our hair because every single one of them needed to go through the method.
Yes.
Every single one.
Yeah.
Every single.
It would drive me nuts. I'd feel like, okay, they need, but this again, going back to part of the reason you design these different tiers is it sometimes came an affordability thing. But what a lot of clients at that time were not realizing is you're paying for it either way. Like at some point, you're going to have to work on this at this. And you have to understand that as coaches, we have tiers and we offer certain things at different tiers. And if the part of what we're working on is not including the mindset piece, I can help guide you with that to a certain point, but it's really helpful to have a guide of that. And
Mhm.
so when we're talking about this group coaching, so you could say, well, isn't the group similar to the self-guided? Yes, it is, because you're still working on your own independently. But what I see in value from this group thing is you are recognizing that the things you're experiencing, you're not alone on an island.
Mhm.
You are hearing other women how they felt and dealt with their items. When they did the assignment, they didn't realize this was a thing. And maybe you didn't know one of like a mom was a thing, and then all of a sudden one of the other group members is talking about her mom and you're thinking, holy cow, that sounds like mine. So
Right.
there's a positiveness to going through a method per se, not to use pun, but to go through a sequence of a well thought out program design that walks you through each of these. And so like Christina was saying, before we had clients who would just come in for nutrition coaching or just come in for just training, and they weren't understanding why we don't need to train every day for an hour every day, why we don't need to be in a constant calorie deficit. But at some point, it's like, there's so much I need to explain to you here. And then also as a coach, there's so much I need to understand why you find these things so important to do.
Mhm.
When you hired a coach to redesign something that wasn't working for you, but yet you're resisting.
Right.
So this again is another opportunity for you to meet with other like-minded people who are
Mhm.
involved in this type of community and share your experiences. And maybe you hear someone talk about their experience and you think, oh gosh, mine wasn't like that. But there's another person I can relate to more so too.
Absolutely. That was the biggest feedback from our cohort was, I would be my client, I'd asked her, I'd be thinking about something in one way, and then the other members would say,
Mhm.
well, I thought about, this was something I struggled with, and they would like, oh, I do that too.
Yeah.
It's such a wonderful dynamic. And so on top of the dynamic, it is kind of like accountability, like your group members
Right.
expect you to show up on the call. They expect you to have done the work and be able to have that conversation, because it's not just for you. There
Right.
is that aspect. I want to learn what you learned as well as teach you what I learned, and we can use that together to help each other. So there's that accountability piece. It offers coaching, obviously, but not as intense as the one-on-one. I had a client tell me some people actually don't, they get kind of intimidated with
Yeah.
one-on-one coaching.
Yeah.
And so that group aspect, even though you are still getting the one-on-one piece with the nutrition, you're not getting the call with a coach. You get a written form, which is a little bit removed, right, from our top tier program that is a one-to-one call. Uh, and the pros of this again are that support. It's more affordable again than our one-to-one coaching or most intimate program, and it encourages that accountability through the group dynamic itself, but also it's less intensive as the one-to-one. We are not as communicative as we would be if you were our mindset method one-to-one client. So it does take a little bit more of that self awareness and accountability, because your coach is involved, but not as involved as it would be in one-to-one coaching. And the group pace may not also be for everyone, because there is one call. We try to figure out the best call for everyone, but we can't appease everybody either.
Right. And one thing I do want to add to this too is the ideal client for who's going to do the group coaching. What you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. And you could say that that's going to apply to each of these tiers. But one thing I want to emphasize here is that you do have to be a bit more I would say extrovert, whether you're an introvert by heart, this is an extrovert program where if you're not participating, you're not sharing your fears, you're not sharing your experiences, you're not sharing what's working for you, you're not going to take away as much as maybe the other members that are more open to sharing their experiences. So you do have to have a bit of your privacy wall needs to come down. Now, the difference you could say, like, okay, like our one-on-one coaching, you can have a privacy wall, but like you said, some clients don't want that kind of intenseness that we can give off sometimes of like, hey, what the heck is going on? Like when I'm reading this, this is what's happening. So if you're not receptive of that, then you've got to advocate for yourself in this program. And if you don't have that, or if you like to be more private, you don't want to share certain personal things because personal things do come up, then this might not be the right fit for you. And that's something I think a lot of people should consider because initially they're going to see the price and go, well, I'll just do the group thing. I'm self-guided. I'm independent. Like I can do that part. But if you're not actively participating, you're going to miss the whole point of this too, of having the group aspect.
Yeah. And when I run it, I make everyone answer questions. I will literally call on you. So that's how it works.
Yeah.
So that is our group cohort. Honestly, guys, I don't know when this is going to air, but I would be open to anyone if within the next, so today is June 3rd. This probably won't air until next week, but if you are like, actually, I want to jump into this cohort, I'd be willing to keep it open until.
Well, then you could test the 1 week of the notice and then your second, like what you're thinking of switching it to.
Yeah, just kind of opening it up. I keep this open until at least the 15th because, you would just have to play a little bit of catch up. But I think, again, it is definitely a wonderful option. And it gives you both the coaching, the accountability, but a little bit of a step back from our last program, which is the Mindset Method one-to-one coaching program. This is our most intimate and personalized coaching program. It is our flagship program and the program that for me, I think gets you to your outcome the fastest. I think that's the biggest thing. And we haven't really talked about that with some of the self-guided programs. You are slowing down the process, but for some of you, that's exactly what you need. But when you have someone there to be fully hands-on, to customize the approach. And what I mean by the approach is you're still doing the method, right? We are taking what we know about you. If you are perfect fail, I can customize your tasks, the way you eat, your exercise to begin to take you outside of that comfort zone, to begin to help recreate new neural pathways in your brain. I can get so precise with that because of the information coming in and our expertise as coaches in this area to do, make these little challenges or tasks or whatever it is to help push you further along. Whereas in the other programs, you're going to have to kind of figure out how to do that. I do add some tasks, group tasks in the group coaching, but they're not, again, customized to you. The feedback is huge as well. So what has been your experience with what we used to call TMOM clients?
Yeah. I mean, I am jealous of them sometimes, to be honest. Well, really, I mean, think about how long it took us to get to where we are, like in our individual part of like health and nutrition and exercise. I mean, it took me years and years, and even sometimes I still have some of it. But then yet with these clients, most of them within 4 months, we've identified the why, they're feeling better. But then within 6 months to the end of the year of continuing and stepping down in our other tiers, that once they've graduated that, they've kind of resolved all of this. So like, for example, I had a client today that I've been working. She started with the Mindset Method, one-on-one coaching. Then she went to Matter. Then she went to Macro. Then she went to Mass. So what I mean by that is she started with this one-on-one program. We identified a bunch of crap. She had a bunch of crap that happened during this time as well. Yo-yo diet, was going to get married at some point. Then she went down. She graduated from that. So then she went down to just custom nutrition and custom exercise programming. Then she graduated from that and just wanted to work on the nutrition piece. then felt good about that. And then she wanted to just help assess some of the exercise pieces that she felt she was missing. So we've been doing that for the last 3-4 months. And today, so apparently she got married this last weekend, or like
Yay.
had her wedding. Well, she got married before, but now she had the wedding. And she just thought, like, she literally said, I'm so happy I worked on this perfectionism and the all or nothing thinking with you, because at this point now I didn't need my wedding to be perfect. Like, I just needed to enjoy it. I didn't need everything to go a set way. So all or nothing was right, because it wasn't about any of that anymore. So the things she worked on for our year together that we've been together has now influenced the rest of her lives. So
Yes.
I want to repeat that, because Christina had asked, what is my experience with working with these clients, is the things that we work on within the 4 months, specifically in that the first 4 months are going to be the worst. And then usually at the 6-month part, there's something that's terrible that happens that throws us off track and we feel horrible. But within the year, everything that we've worked on together. Now, again, this takes client participation, like we've talked about. This takes client input and feedback and me responding as a coach. That now has applied to other areas of each client's life. It's not just the exercise and nutrition that has been taken care of. It's how they view themselves to the world and as their boss or as professionals or any other sphere. Yeah.
Absolutely. We change what you say in your mind to change how you see yourself in the mirror not being necessarily, yes, it is the reflection you see, but your reflection as a mother, as a wife, everything you're saying. And we do that by holding your hand, creating these methods with you, as Amanda has said, not for you. Now, the method was created out of experience. And the beauty of this method is, even as you've been a part of this ecosystem, it has changed. The reason it has changed is from learning. It's like AI. AI learns from you. We learn from you. And so we can begin to make changes as we need. And it very much is, I mean, obviously we're biased, but for some people, it's the last program they ever do. For most people, they might like sign up for like an exercise, something, but they feel so amazing. It's my favorite thing to say. I know that this stuff isn't necessarily going to go away. There's going to be struggle, strain. There's going to be times where I am overloaded on capacity when it comes to my emotions and my emotional barriers, but I have the tools, the awareness. I have become proof of what it feels like to live in a brain and a body that is calm, that's peaceful, that is listening to itself, that trusts itself. And because I have that proof, when I'm outside of that proof, aka turning towards my old way of thinking and feeling, I have this difference, right? In the example, what is the word I'm looking for? Where, there you go. Like a comparison, like, well, that's not how I feel when I'm doing the method and being aware of myself and, managing the negative thinking. I don't feel how I'm feeling now. So then it gives you even more insight to like, okay, what's going on? And then turning you back towards it. And so this is, again, highly personalized and focused. I truly believe it's the fastest way to get to and achieve the results that you desire, because not only are we working on the specifics in your mindset, then we get to create these beautiful nutrition and exercise and habitual plans that meet your needs. So much so, as we've talked about, you may have a different plan on Wednesday. You may have a different plan the week of travel. You may have a different plan for your weekends. It's so specific to you. And it provides direct and detailed feedback. You have access. So I haven't actually talked about what it is. You get a one-to-one Zoom call with your coach every single week. And in that call, we're going over your reflections, your habits, your nutrition, your exercise. For some of us, I know, like for you, you do more of the exercise and nutrition via the messenger, which your coach has access to message you Monday through Friday. If we do have emergencies, we'll be available on weekends. We don't usually have emergencies. However, it's there. And you get to ask questions. You have access to the community forum, which also is all of our clients in this method that they can then support you. Again, custom nutrition coaching, custom exercise training, and that's all well phased and it's all around your needs. What would you say are the cons or the things that hold people back from joining this program?
The number one thing I get is the financial investment.
Yeah.
And I think it's because they see this is where my job is to break it down for them and to say, this is why it costs this much. So for example, taking the total cost, divide it by 4, because let's think of it over a monthly period. Then what are you getting every month? So, okay, so you're getting custom nutrition. Well, that comes at a cost. You're getting custom exercise. Well, that comes at a cost. You're getting a resources group, like setting a like access to other people. That comes at a cost. And then on top of that, time. So my time comes at a cost. So when you break it
and the
up,
method.
and the method,
Therapeutic aspect of it.
So when you, like, this sounds very like too logical, but when you itemize the items instead of doing like a bundled price, when you itemize the items, that's what I encourage those who are resistant because of cost to look at is what are you truly getting from all this? And then let me ask in return, what were you paying before for certain programs and what did you get out of it? So for example, if you were, maybe they could say, well, last time I paid for a program, it was $200 a month or something like that. And okay, well, what did you get? Well, I got exercise and then they checked in weekly. Okay, well, there's $200 towards your monthly payment that you would pay for us, but you're also getting the method, the mindset, access to other people who are going through this, resources, custom nutrition.
An actual Zoom call.
Yeah, an actual Zoom
call. What is the
call
check-in weekly?
at your scheduled time. So yes, that's just one fraction of it, but here you are still in the same pattern, resisting. So, okay, now let's look back and go, you have paid for X amount of programs and coaches and whatnot. That's more than what this cost. And so at what point is your value? The value is stopping you because you don't, like you talked about your 4 barriers. What barrier is it? Is it truly a financial barrier or is it I perceive like this isn't going to work for me as well because of my experience? Right. Then again, that's something we need to work on because that's probably something that replays in your mind and throughout your life over and over.
There's oftentimes an apples to apples comparison when it's not. It's not at all because there is no other program like this.
They're comparing an apple to a tree. Like,
right. Like, we are the tree. They're the apple.
There's apples in the tree, but my tree is a lot more abundant of an offering than your one apple that you got.
Yeah, from another coaching program. That's awesome. No, absolutely. And I say that all the time. I say that to people like, we don't do these skeezy sales calls. That's just not who we are. If you say, I need to talk to my partner, my husband, I'm going to say, okay, great. I understand that because I would talk to my husband if I invested some money in our business coach.
Right.
And he came in, I said, this is what I want to do. This is how much it is. Do we want to pay in full or I didn't even really talk to him. I was like, do you want to pay in full or do you want to do the monthly? He's like, pay in full. It's like, great. And speaking of that, we have several now options. We have 3 options for all 3 programs. So you can do a paid in full. You can use Affirm, which allows you to create your own monthly payment schedule. Or now we have a subscription option where you pay 40% up front, and then we take the rest of it and do it based on 40% up front, and then we take the rest and divide it by the rest of the 3 months of the program, which actually a lot of people have used recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's kind of like you go to a gym and you have an enrollment fee, right, at a gym, which is usually a bit more up front, and then you pay your monthly payment. So that's how we've created it for all 3 programs. But again, the investment is what it is higher, but you're exactly right. I ask people on social media, how much would you pay for a therapist, a personal trainer, and nutrition coach? Someone told me $1,500 a month, $900 a month. And I'm like,
problem solved.
That's less than what we charge.
Right.
Right. And, for us, we are offering, we offer, if you know someone who works with us, you get a referral discount. Depending on how busy we are, we may, or not busy, we may offer some sort of discounting. I know I did for women's, March is Women's
Month
Awareness Month of something. Yeah, we offered like $500 off. So the other thing of this program, it is more intensive. It's hard work, and it requires probably at least an hour or two of your time per week. Now, that I would say a half hour for sure for your call. I'd say another half hour for your forms. And then the rest is up to you. If you're someone who wants to do this and you want to do it the right way, maybe we're tracking your food ahead of time and creating a plan, or meal prepping, or whatever that looks like, right? But we also very much want to focus on rest and recovery and self-care as well. So that is the one-to-one. Anything else about that program?
Nope.
Yeah. So you guys can see there's a variety of ways to work with us. The self-guided program is almost ironed out. Follow me on social media at Mindset and Matter Coaching. I'm going to be offering this beta test.
Oh.
For 10 people for a case study in return. Beta.
That's pretty
So
reasonable.
You get your hands on my shit. And all I need from you is an overview, case study, testimonial, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
At the end. So, and it's going to be specific. There will be a contract that says I need to be seeing you in here doing the work. If you are not doing the work, then we're going to let someone else do it, right? Because that's what we do. If you're interested in any of these programs, you will want to set up a call with us. And like we said, our calls really are just about like, what are your goals? What do you need? Like, how can we help you?
Mhm.
And now what program would be best for you based on your goals, based on your finances, based on your time? We have a variety of options for you. Get on a call with us and you just get to talk to us. Most of the time, I'm just joking with people the whole time and then taking some notes. So that's me. The Clarity Call link is in the show notes below. I will say for you guys to schedule a Clarity Call, we do require a $25 deposit. Why? Why do we do that? Because we want you to respect our time as well. That is the $25 will be refunded to you if you choose not to work with us, or it will be put towards your programming. So you actually get $25 off. Girl bath.
I was gonna say no, they don't. But
No, but they forget that they did it, and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
2
yeah.
weeks later they sign up, and they're like, "Oh yeah, $25 off," and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Sure, but
sure.
that's. I mean, if you think about going to the salon, if you missed your appointment, you
Right.
get a
late
So
fee.
I've only had a few people not show up, and they've lost their deposit, but that's because we have boundaries as well, and we want to
Yeah.
be able to have that time be available for people who are really ready to do this. So just want to let you know that. But that doesn't go in our pockets by any means. It's applied to your programming or we refund it back to you. Again, Mindset and Matter Coaching is my coaching program. Be on the lookout for the advertising on this beta test. You are at fitbyamanda.az on
Yes.
Instagram.
Yes.
Where can they find us on TikTok or on YouTube, Amanda?
The Mindset and Matter Coaching.
Yes, you can see our really cool grills. Because for those of you listening, I don't know why. I mean, I know why, but I don't know why it doesn't do it to you and it does it to me.
Because I'm not in the line of it.
If I sit, okay, so if I sit here, well, then I'm not close to my. I gotta here. What if I go this way? There, maybe. If you guys are listening, the digital background that we have, there's like a diamond accessory, and every time I open my mouth, it looks like it's in my mouth, so it's kind of hilarious. Other than that, what else do we have for the people? I guess they need to remember one thing. Why don't you tell them?
One thing. What you say in the mind.
You see in the mirror.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.